Welcome to the American Business Podcast. I'm Kevin Devecioglu, your host. I'm welcoming you episode 170 in the American Business Podcast. We are starting Season 6 and this is our first episode in Season 6. Alright, well, today's number 130,000. US employers added 130,000 jobs in January 2026 and unemployment rate is 4.3%. Quote of the day. As you know, we have a great partnership with missionstatements.com, and here is the quote of the day. Often, our most rewarding dreams are staring us right in the face. But for some reason, we focus on how hard things are, how we are scared of the unknown, and what would happen if we failed. All right, let me invite our guests to our stage and let's get the conversation started. Hello, Jerry. Welcome to the American Business Podcast.
Hello, Kevin. Thank you for having me today. Very excited to be here.
Thank you very much. Pleasure is all mine. And I'm glad you joined the podcast today. And I've been looking forward to this conversation. And, we love to learn from you. Where are you connecting out of for our audience to learn?
I am in beautiful but cold today, Jersey City. So I don't think I'm that far away from you, Kevin.
Yes, you're right. So New York City is our home. That's where we run the American Business Podcast. And I definitely agree. I mean, that's a cold day. So hopefully it's going to warm up and looking forward to summer.
After the warm weather of a few weeks to walk outside and then realize I needed to take my coats out of storage
It's
was
actually
not
shocking.
it was kind of shocking and really was not excited about that part of my day.
Yes,
But
yes.
at
Well,
least it looks nice out there.
it actually is. At least it's sunny. So that's definitely is in our favor. Well, I had a chance to learn about your organization during Legal Week. So I had a chance to talk to some of your team members and learn about the organization. That was a great opportunity for me. And you have a great organization. That was actually very inspiring for me to learn about your organization during Legal Week event. So let's get our conversation started, if that's okay. As a start, would you please introduce yourself and your organization to our listeners and to our viewers?
Absolutely. Thank you. Hi, I'm Jerry Levine. I'm the General Counsel and Chief Evangelist here at Leah, which formerly was Contract Pod AI. We are one of the leading legal technology, although we've been transitioning into a enterprise technology company uh, that really spans what we've noticed our customers are using the products for legal, for procurement, for finance, for HR. And our goal is to help our clients not just have another tool, not just have another solution, but to get the systems that they are using, the complex multi-step work that we know our clients are doing, and make sure that nothing falls between the cracks, that all of these lines are connected. Uh, it's our goal is really to take what we've learned and what we're hearing from our clients and give them the tools so that they can succeed. And I always point out that I am actually a former customer of the company. Until 2021, I was at another AI company where I was actually using then Contract Pods, then called Contract Pod AI CLM. And I think one of the key things that I love about it is Leah and formerly Contract Pod gave me a place where I could take my own knowledge and my own experience and help a lot of other folks, especially legal professionals, finance professionals, procurement professionals, build their own ability to use these tools and really help their enterprises, their businesses, and even their own departments succeed and grow.
Well, let's learn about your career journey, if that's okay. Would you please tell us how did you get started, how your career journey has unfolded over the years?
I kind of just woke up one morning and someone said, "Congratulations, you're in charge now."
Yes, why
Uh,
not?
why not? We saw you on the street. You looked friendly enough. Um, so I will note that for your viewers, or if you're watching, you'll see my camera follows me. I don't know how to turn that off, so sorry about that. But I'm very tech savvy. But if I touch it, it will never work again.
Okay.
Going to your question, Kevin. So I've been practicing law for about 20 years. I actually thought I was going to go into many, many years ago. I thought I was going to go into marketing or information technology. And it turned out that when I went to law school, uh, that really changed my entire perspective of myself because I had been looking at this as, you know, oh, I really like computers, I really like marketing, I want to sell things. And it turned out that once I started learning about law, I was like, this is something that needs to change. This is something that can grow. There's so much going on here, and we really can make a huge difference. So I know that you've got some other questions about this, so I'm going to be a little broad here.
Okay.
But like I said, about 20 years of legal practice. My past 5 years have been with Leah as the general counsel and chief evangelist, where a big portion of my job is really talking about how these products, how AI, how using software correctly can really benefit at first our legal customers, but then all customers. So, if anything, I would say I went from being just a pure practitioner of law to advocating for people to adopt basic legal tools to really thinking about how enterprise AI works and how companies can use workflows, artificial intelligence, and other technology concepts and tools that we're seeing available today to change themselves, but also rebuild and reorient their organizations for success.
What is the secret of your success?
So this is a two-part answer. I like that. Um, I think the one I'll say now because I think you'll there's one I would tell younger folks today and what the secret they can follow. But for me, I think the secret of my success has always been I've developed what I think is the ability to travel or translate between worlds. So many uh, again, I come from a legal background. So many lawyers are really good at thinking, but they're not so good at fluently talking about technology, or they're not so great at really looking at the business impact. So, what I learned a few years ago was that many, many attorneys, especially, are really good at speaking that one language, that legal language, but they're not good at speaking all three. So, when I realized that, when I was first moved in house and I learned that the key for attorneys, in house especially, is to be able to understand not just the law, but the business impact of what they're doing and the technology that's available, that changed really my entire focus. And when I talk to other lawyers about this today, when I talk to any professional about this today, really, it's always in the idea that you have to take your concept of what you know is your core competency and have other branching ideas and have other branching areas where you can speak. Because I've met plenty of folks out there that are really good at giving a technical explanation, much like lawyers can be really good at giving a legal explanation, but there's a lot of folks that just will not ever understand what you're saying. And that's the reason why so many people go, I got this email, and they throw it into an AI tool and say, what does this actually mean? TLDR, explain this like I'm five. And the fact is there's a lot of these magical words that have to be translated between industries, between concepts. And so I think the secret to success is understanding not just yourself. You have to understand yourself to really be successful, I believe. You have to have that self knowledge and self awareness. And to be fair, my wife would say that I have no self knowledge and no self awareness. But at least in my day to day business work, apparently I do. But you have to take that own self knowledge and self awareness, and you have to focus on what others are doing and where they are coming from, and be able to recognize what they don't understand, and be willing to learn their what they do need to understand in order to deliver a result that they're looking for. So if anything, it's the it's that translation between worlds, understanding what everybody involved is needs to accomplish. That's a true secret to success. And the corollary is don't go too far. Don't embed yourself so much that you can't. What would the phrase be? Make sure you can always see the forest, even if you're looking at one tree. So, I think those are two key things that I've looked at, which that translation and keeping your wits about you.
When I was at Legal Week, I was actually pretty surprised with the amount of technology in legal industry, which I'm from technology industry. That really surprised me. It was like I felt like I was in a technology conference more than a legal event. So that was actually pretty cool. And last week, also I had a chance to interview a family lawyer from California area. That episode will be live tomorrow morning, Eastern time, and we had this conversation as well. So the technology really changes the field, and it's really exciting to see how technology actually impacting on legal work and also shaping the industry. So, from your point of view, how do you see the state of your industry, technology, legal technology? Any How do you see the changes in the market nowadays, and opportunities and and threats that you are observing?
Yeah. So I think, look. I think anybody who tells you there's no change and nothing is ever going to change is wrong. I'll be honest there. And this is actually a question I get frequently from folks, and it seems to change week by week. So, on just a pure basic idea, everybody is, well, that's probably a little too broad. 70% of people, I think, are now of lawyers, but this is something and of course, again, focusing on lawyers, I spend a lot of time thinking about this. 70% of lawyers are saying that they're now using AI tools in their work, and more across the entire legal industry. And I'm talking about everything that touches that: insurance, procurement, all of these. We're seeing this approaching 80%, if not more. So what changes are we really seeing, and what's going on is that AI is getting more and more embedded into what we see and do. And I really see AI as having two portions here. Uh, there's a lot of AI tools that are causing a lot of consternation. I'm not going to focus on generating art or making videos because I don't think that's where the real value comes from. That's a toy, in my view. It could be a dangerous toy, it could be a great toy. But where I think we're really seeing these changes, where we're really looking at all of this, is these tools are filling gaps, and they're making it easier for folks to go in and do the work they're trying to do, get results back faster, and be able to respond quicker to what they need to respond to. There be I can tell you personally, if my workflows have changed. It used to be that if I was going to review a contract, I would have to pull in that document. I would go through it. I would start reading. An hour or so later, I would take a break. I would come back. I would read more. And maybe depending on the length, this would have taken 4, 5, 6, 7 hours, depending on what I'm doing. Now, what I can do with our tools is I can throw something in, say, take my playbook, look at this right away. What is key here that I need to focus on? And then so that initial review is getting shortened by 20 to 30%. Kevin, I think that was so cool. We just switched on the screen. There we go. I'm having a lot of fun here. We just keep bouncing back and forth.
It's all good. It's all
If
good.
you're only listening to this, you're not seeing this fun screen shifting. Um, so I I think to your point, these changes, these differences, we're seeing folks adopt it for real. They're seeing it really change how they're doing that. And that's being reflected in the wider industry. The legal tech industry is, there's a ton of investment. We've raised money in the past, our competitors are raising money. Every day there's a new big raise by one of the legal technology companies. And it's not because lawyers are sitting there going, we are never going to change. It's because lawyers and procurement professionals, all these folks that are working in these enterprises or at law firms or at consulting firms are realizing that there is real value to taking in tools and figuring out where they fit in the workflow, where they fit in your knowledge, and being able to take that knowledge and then work better. And, one example I use, going back to the legal week discussions, is I find myself generally, I used to work a lot longer, and don't ever let my CEO or the CEO hear this, but I found that my days are no longer, let me shove everything in as much as possible and then collapse. Now I've got a little more order. I'm able to schedule things because I know these tools can help. And so we're seeing this all over. We're seeing this in not just an efficiency not just for efficiency, but there's a real impact on how people are working. And look, there are positives and negatives to every technological change, but to the extent that we're seeing real benefits for our customers here and for folks in this world that we work in our industries, that's real. That's real. That's a real change that, you know, 5 years ago, 6 years ago, wasn't something that was available. And to me, that's a huge difference in how we approach not just legal work, but business work in general, knowledge work as a whole.
Well, here is $1 million question. So I had this question to other lawyers, our guests as well, in practicing law, and so that is, will AI replace lawyers and judicial system in the future?
I I I am going to roll my eyes and describe that I'm rolling my eyes. No. The short answer is no. The one thing, and I think that this is a fear for everyone in every industry, not just lawyers, not just accountants, not just creative writers. The benefit to the tools is generally I find it's getting workflow items done. It's getting steps done. Um, you know, if you think about how AIs work, if you really think about how tools like Leo work, we give them instructions. We say, do this. But that's not everything that happens for a real lawyer or a real accountant or a salesperson. You don't just go and say, here's what you told me, here's the output. But the AI does. You say, find me a recipe for cookies, it's going to find you a recipe for cookies. It's not replacing a baker. It's not going out and doing that. So where I think the real impact is, and I'm not going to use that, I'm going to avoid it, but I'm going to throw it out there. Everyone says you don't have to worry about an AI taking your job. You have to worry about the people who could use AI taking your job. And what that really means is not, okay, not a 3-year-old with an AI is not going to replace a lawyer. But what you do have to be careful with, and there's a great study that came out. I'm going to look away for a second just to make sure I give the right name. There's a great study that just came out of the University of Minnesota School of Law. And what it turns out, and literally came out yesterday or 2 days ago, I think. Uh, and the professor wrote to me and he basically said, uh, you've got to read this. And what this is showing is not that these tools are replacing anybody, but they're actually generally improving and allowing people to retain more knowledge, which is counterintuitive. Because what a lot of people thought was going to happen with AI tools overall was that it was going to destroy knowledge. or we'd rely more on that and not be able to think. And instead, what we've seen start happening, what they're starting to show is happening, is that fundamental knowledge, the baseline stuff, the understanding is going there. More people are developing higher understanding because they're being presented the information again, and then they're reading again, and then they're correlating. And again, all of this is stuff that you have to do when you use an AI. You have to make sure you understand what it's giving you, and a good product will. But the interesting part was most people improved. Most of the users improved their recall, improved their knowledge, improved their writing, improved their analysis. The ones who struggled most were the ones who already were performing at the very highest level. And and according to the study, which I hope they go further on, they said they did another section where effectively they said, are you tired? Did you start accepting the AI's advice as true regardless of thought? And people said yes. So that's the caution that I think people have to be aware of. Not that AI is going to replace your job, but that you put your reliance on it, not at a level of this is a tool that can help me, but that this can replace my thinking. So, going back to your point, will AI replace lawyers? No. But what you can't do is let it replace your ability to think for yourself. So that study, by the way, if anybody wants to look it up, it's artificial intelligence and human legal reasoning by professors Bednar, Cleveland, Erbsen, and Schwartz at the University of Minnesota Law School. Uh, I like to cite my sources if it helps.
Absolutely, absolutely. That's very informative. Truly appreciate it. Okay, well, how would you define leadership, and what are the great leadership qualities a good leader must have from your point of view?
So I I think for me and from my point of view, leadership is uh, I've always read a lot about servant leaders and folks, and I know some of these concepts are a little outdated now. You don't hear anyone talking about servant leadership as much. You don't talk anyone talking about really how they want to do this. But I think ultimately, when we shift away from thinking about leadership as being a team leader and into a single person role that never needs any input, I think that's not leadership. That's dictatorship. And yes, it works sometimes. If you've got a small team and you have to say I'm the boss and you people have to do things, that's one thing. But my personal thought on leadership is leaders should be available. They should be able to understand what their teams are going through. And depending on the size of your organization, that may mean multiple levels. But when I think about what makes a really good leader and what I want to see in leaders that work with me, and when I'm explaining to people how I want them to lead, it's I want them to listen, take the feedback, make decisions, but also share their rationale. I think, we're not it's the difference between talking to your child and saying, go wash the dishes. Why? Well, because I said so. If the dishes are in the sink, you should go do them. That's your chore. As opposed to, I want you to do this project. Well, you should be asking, what are we looking to solve? And the leader should be able to say, I need to understand this. Or if someone brings you an issue, you should be able to talk to them and walk through those issues and find a solution with them. So whether you want to call that servant leadership or responsive leadership, or even just being a responsible colleague, I think that's it. So I've never liked the kind of the kind of aggressive do it my way or the highway leadership. I think there's a time and a place for that. If you're down to the crunch and you need to get it done, maybe you have to say, hey, we got to do it this way. Let's see how it works out in the future with other practices. But I think the best leaders, the ones I like following, are the ones that are out there, that are meeting with their teams, that are out there gaining knowledge from the rest of the organization, that are actually listening. And so if you want to classify that is as I guess there you go. I call it listening leadership. Responsive listening leadership. You hear things,
Yes.
you take them in, you figure out what to do next, and then you help with guidance. But you always keep that conversation flowing, and you always need to be able to put away your preconceived notions of what should happen, because ultimately a good leader should be able to change courses when things change. If you keep you know, if you keep doing the same thing over and over again with the same result, expecting something different, that's the definition of insanity, I think, according to Einstein or something. But if you take what you're learning and you
Hmm.
apply those lessons and you change it going forward, that's being a real leader, and you're actually modeling knowledge-based, responsible learning leadership to the rest of the team. So I think those folks make the best leaders. I have been lucky that almost everybody I've worked for, and I know that you didn't ask this, but I have been lucky that most of my bosses, most of my supervisors through my career
Hmm.
have generally been willing. You know, if I say we should do this differently, they've been willing to say why, explain why you think we should change, and then they're willing to either explain why not
Hmm.
or tell me how to, or tell me why we will adopt that. So I think that's the core for me of leadership is responding, listening, and then learning.
Have you had any role models, any mentors who help you shape your career journey over the years?
So yeah, I see. I knew that was going to be the next question. Um, I I have actually a fairly strange. Uh, I do think it's a little weird. I think it's a little bit of a strange, weird uh, career path and career learning path for many lawyers. In that I almost I didn't work for a man until midway, till probably 10 years into my career. So I have heard all these stories of young lawyers who have worked for male supervisor, male lawyers, and you know, I never had that. I worked when I was clerking as a young lawyer. I worked for a judge, Judge Carol Higby, who's unfortunately passed away. I've worked for my woman partners, but I really credit two folks I worked with when I was at Barnes and Noble College, uh, and especially you know those two general counsels I worked for at Barnes and Noble College. I feel really taught me what it meant to be a real professional in the field. And I still to this day I'll call up Suzanne and Sheeta, who were the two GCs while I was there, and I'll go, "Hey, I am still struggling with this. What you've been doing this for longer than I have. What would you do in this case?" So I do think, and I think it's really important to have those kind of models, because I find that it changes, especially basically being raised by women lawyers, change the way that I approach how I do my job, because I'm not coming at it. I'm almost, I wouldn't say they're different in terms of skill or knowledge or anything, but in terms of the way they attack problems, the terms of the way they solve issues, in terms of the way they to respond to a crisis, it's very different than when I talk to my friends who have worked for male lawyers. And I find that, yeah, do I still panic and run around sometimes before breathing? Of course. If you hit me with a crisis in the morning, I need coffee. I need to take a break, drink coffee, and come back to it. But knowing that I feel like the core lesson I learned goes back to what we've been talking about already. It's about figuring out the best path forward, not just getting your way. And I think if there's anything those role models have shown, especially Sheeta and Suzanne, it was that the goal is to get a solution that works. It's not to get a solution that no one, it's not to make everyone happy. It's to find a point where you feel like you've gotten something that works, that you can work with, and that will preserve the business and make sure everybody gets the best result they can. So role models, yeah, I think those are my two favorite. I probably have more, but we can go on talking for another few hours.
Well, we can save it for part two. All right. Well, we have a little tradition in American Business Podcast. I have a question for you coming from our previous guest. And after this question, after you address it, I'll ask you to leave me a question in this episode. I'll take your question and ask to our next guest in the next episode. And the question for you from our previous guest is, I'll bring it to the screen so it's going to be easier. All right. Beyond making profit, why is your work important to the society and to the world?
Uh, that's that's a really good question, because I think for a lot of folks, the they get told that the ultimate outcome is profit. And I don't think that should be the case. And maybe it's because I think the ultimate outcome for what we're doing should be something that benefits folks. So, and I want to hit I know you threw the question up there. Can I read it one more time, Kevin? Is that could be okay?
That's perfectly fine.
Why is my work important to society and the world? I don't think my I think my personal work, when I'm helping folks who are starting out in their careers, that's one aspect of the work that I think is really important to the world. We have to really go and say, the world is changing every day. What worked 5 years ago isn't working anymore today. So, to younger lawyers, to young professionals, to anyone starting out, I would say, you have to focus on when you're doing that, and you have to think about that, and you have to build yourself around not just your job, but around what you want to accomplish. And then how will that benefit other folks? And then personally, what we're doing here at Leah, I think, and I'm going to throw on my other chief evangelist hat, is is listen, evangelism at its core, with stripped of all religious meaning, is about delivering good news, delivering ideas. And I think that's what we're doing. We're looking at ways to make people take what they're doing on a daily basis and do it in a more effective manner. I don't want to make people unhappy. I want people to get solutions that work for them. So everything we do is designed to give people a way to achieve their ultimate goal in a way that they can really look back and say, I did the best job I could. Was given the tools, I was given the knowledge, I was given the understanding to really go ahead and build something that matters. And ultimately, I think what I want people to feel when they go home at the end of the day after using something that we build here at Leah is, yeah, that really helped. I got this done. And then we find out, and I'll give you a little bit of answer, but we do find out from our customers, we're getting messages like, hey, this really helped me out. I was able to get out today at 5 instead of 7:30. I got to go to my kids' dance rehearsal. I got to, there's always those horror stories of a partner at a law firm calling up an associate and saying, hey, I know your wedding's today, but I need you to work on this brief. If that's ever happened to you, I'm really sorry. But I don't want that to happen to anybody else. I think people need their time. And I think one of our goals is to give people the time, their downtime at night in the weekends, so that they can achieve during the week, during the work week, get those things done so that they can be more satisfied in the rest of their life.
And what is your question for the next guest?
This one's hard. And I would prefer not to ask a work related question. So I'm going to
Okay.
focus on my other true love, which, Kevin, I warned you, is always food. So next guest. I love eating, and I've been vegan. But where have you traveled to in the past year? Anywhere. It doesn't matter. What did you find was your favorite dish, and what was new about it that surprised you when you traveled?
I love the question. I love it. I'll make sure to ask in next couple of hours. So the next recording is coming up. So you won't have to wait too long for the answer.
I'm very happy about that. Listen, I really do believe. I think my favorite thing to do with guests, with customers, with anybody, I love to take people out to eat
Mm,
because I think I've always been taught and told that the way you share things is by dining together. So
yes.
to me, that dining together, that meeting people, that sharing across a table is a key part of, you if you want to talk how I try to leave things better, I always try to make people have a good meal, think about something they can accomplish, and then enjoy the rest of their evening. But having that good meal is very important to me because I think that sets up everything else for success.
Well, and I don't have actually. Yeah, when I was listening to, I was thinking I don't have many vegan. I haven't met many vegan people around me. I think you are the second person I know who is vegan. So, and I had a chance to learn about vegan restaurants in the city, and it was actually
Okay.
quite an experience. But that's really interesting. And we never had any question to another guest about food. So this is also first time too. That's pretty
Yeah.
cool.
I
Yes, I
try.
love it.
My main goal is to try to make people think outside the box,
Okay,
and
okay.
or if you put your food into a box, think inside the box while you're eating, then outside the box when you're done.
Well, one thing is for sure, food definitely helps. That's for sure. Okay. Well, in this part of the episode, do you have any question that you would like to ask me?
Yeah. I would love to know. This is the first episode of the new season. So
Yes.
I know that you haven't talked to many other people. I know that you said that the most recent episode was just released. What are you hearing from other guests about, or what did you hear in the past few guests about what their big changes that they're seeing? I tried to catch up, but I couldn't catch up all the way. I'm sorry, Kevin. I
No,
really
no
did.
worries.
I was I was I was on YouTube earlier, speed running the past few
Appreciate it.
days,
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for watching.
but
Appreciate it.
but I didn't make it all the way to the end.
No,
So
no, not a problem. Yes,
what?
absolutely.
Yeah. What are your key learnings from the past few guests
Um,
that you'd like to share?
yeah, this is actually a great point, and actually, I'm in the process of turning these conversations into a book, like short, brief summaries of just the gist of the conversation. Right? And if they like to learn more, they can watch the entire episode. So, well, the it's very interesting that you ask, and from professional point of view, how actually life really shape professionals' career and the outline of it, that which we know. It's just that I really keep hearing from professionals, which is the impact of family. So our parents, our siblings, and what we have seen, what we have learned from them, how we interacted, that really shaped the most of the time. That really shaped the career journey. So if you see a certain practice, certain business practice, or a craft from one of your parents, highly likely you'll learn from it. Maybe the same one, or you get some lessons. And but one thing is for sure, that's a big impact on professionals' life. Is what I see, and some of them they really have great role models that they can talk about. Just like yourself, you give great examples, details, right? That's great. Some they don't have great role models. They have bad role models, but they learn from them and they learn what not to do. So that's also pretty cool. That learning experience
Yeah,
that I see.
I shared the good ones, not the bad ones. I think
Yes,
I did
possibly.
learn. I do think you do learn a lot from the bad role models too.
That's
I think
true.
you
That's
absolutely
true.
learn what not
You
to
look at it, you're like, I'll never do it. I see what is going on here. I don't like it, but I'm not gonna do it in the future. So
I'm laughing because my son has actually told me he's like he'll go, Dad, you learned a lot of great things from Grandpa, but I wish you never learned any of the dad jokes and like terrible dad jokes like, hey, are you tired? Oh, hi, tired. It's nice to meet you. Yeah, I that's that's his number one case for me.
Well, so yeah, that's another one. And in terms of like businesses in general, and recently what we are learning is the impact of AI is actually wider than what we think in general. I mean, in business, personally, and the thought process of professionals coming and evaluating is also a mix. So the majority of them using AI in some form and they like to adopt. I also met with some of them that they don't want and they don't like and they'll never use. They are saying that AI at all, for example. I see that too. And they explain why. I mean, their point of view. So we just listen and learn, and it's a point of view. So I'm sure there's a opportunity to learn something in that sense. So it's still AI is a mystery in so many ways. I mean, I'm in technology, so I understand and I appreciate it. I can guess what may be happening, and you share your view, which is very important. You're in technology, and daily basis you are helping your clients with the technology. So and some professionals they don't have the technology background. They are business people. They are business oriented. They are entrepreneurs. They are innovative. Some of them they look at it differently. So all I'm saying is like the AI is still a mystery in US in so many ways, and at the same time it's an opportunity for small businesses. That's what we are seeing in terms of accessing these high level, high technologies. It's a powerful technology in a way. You don't have to be a Fortune 500 company to have this technology anymore. It's affordable. That's also so. It's really a mix. The AI is gonna be is changing our lives, and the way that businesses really look at it and use this is a mixed bag right now, and that's a big deal in terms of AI is what AI is doing, how it's actually shaping the business.
Yeah,
So these are the things that top of my mind. Yeah.
yeah, I was going to say there's a tremendous amount of uh, I don't know how to say it. There's a tremendous amount of everything out there about AI. There's so much going on
Hmm.
with and even to those of us who use it every day, a lot of how it works is a mystery. I can tell you fundamentally like the way a large language model works, but I can't actually understand. I mean, this is a weird thing to say. I can tell you how it works, but I can't explain it.
Hmm.
Like
Hmm.
I know mathematically and probability wise how it works, but I don't know how it actually works on a fundamental level.
Hmm.
And I think I'm okay with that because I know enough to say this is where you stop and this is where you don't stop. This is where you use it. This is where you don't use it. And I think everybody is somewhere along that path. I think all the way to never use it. I mean, do you use spell check? So, and then people who are using it for everything, I think that's a different problem. But no, I'm so I could talk that one topic could be an entire
Oh
conversation.
yeah, absolutely, and I'm with you 100%. We have another segment and another podcast called Two Guys All Things Tech. So I actually broadcast it with my colleague Anthony Lucidi. So there we just debate, right? And then we just talk about, and our main subject is always AI. And we have the same, like we just debate and talk about different parts of the AI. And we can just keep going and going and going. And then we hardly stop it really. So it's really, so I agree with you. I mean, there is a lot to talk about because you can look at it from different angles, by industry, by practice, and it really varies, depends on how you look at it really. So a couple of
Absolutely.
weeks ago we had our monthly roundtable discussion with some of our expert followers in the American Business Podcast. So the way that you look at AI from technology is different from how you look at it from in terms of from legal point of view, how you look at it from security point of view, how you look at it from manufacturer's point of view. Like these are all different practices. I mean, the technology is the same fundamentally, but how you're gonna utilize it, how you look at it, is completely different. So then there you go. This is the hours of content that you can
Yeah,
easily create, and
there
relevant content. Yes,
exactly. There's an entire another podcast for
yes,
10
yes,
right there.
yes. That is true. That's why we created the segment, the voice of AI. So that's pretty cool.
Does it have a real AI voice?
No, anytime that we talk about AI,
Oh,
that
okay.
is that's a part of the segment.
Oh,
Yeah,
I
yeah. But
thought you were going.
we are getting ready for actually another segment that there is gonna be only demos of
Okay.
software systems that we are getting ready for because there are many AI powered AI companies contacting us that they like to talk about. And we like to turn it into conversations are great. We definitely welcome it. We like to turn it into a more show and tell type of segment that's coming up. That is new. So that's really exciting. I'll keep you posted. Absolutely, because that's
Absolutely, I
relevant to
would
you.
love that.
Okay, well, what is your career advice for the next generation professionals?
Ooh, career advice. Oh, so we weren't actually done. Um, I this is the most dangerous thing you can do as a young professional and the most beneficial. And I say this from personal experience. Saying yes when someone approaches you that you could do something, even if you've never done it before, is both the best way to learn how to do something quickly, but also you need to learn how to do it quickly. And so what I found as a young professional would be people would walk up to me and say, Jerry, it was so nice meeting you. Do you do corporate formations? And at the time I was a litigator. But I said, sure, I do corporate formations. And then someone else says, oh, do you do employment contract reviews? I said, sure, I review these. Now each time, I had to teach myself something new. But that ultimately, saying yes to doing that work, ultimately gave me the foundation to do everything, to be a general counsel, to be able to come in and take on other tasks. Because if you just focus, what is it? Specialization is for insects. I think that there is both a real important need to have deep knowledge in one area, but you can't take yourself as a young professional and know nothing about anything else. So if you're starting out in your field and you want to be an expert in one area, make sure that you know things about other areas as well. Don't just be an employment lawyer, or don't just be if you can't recognize other issues, if you can't recognize other concepts, you're going to be in a lot of trouble. So my best advice and my worst advice is to say yes to everything. But the important thing is that when you say yes, you go ahead, you teach yourself, you learn it, and then you do it, to the best degree you can. Because the other part of that is people will ultimately forgive you if you do your best, and they'll give you feedback, they'll help you do better. But if you don't know anything and you clearly didn't know anything, that's the problem. So say yes, learn it, and then do it. It sounds like it's weird, but saying yes and doing it is the most important thing I think you can do as a young professional.
For those who like to continue this conversation, what is the best way that they can get in touch with you,
Oh, sure.
learn
That's a
about your
great
company?
question. You can always visit us at www.leahai.com. If you search for Jerry Levine on LinkedIn, I am easy to find. I'm actually easy to find if you search in any search engine. Um, if you find a director or a doctor or uh, yeah, a lot of doctors, they're not me. If you look for the person who looks like me, it says Leah, and it says something about AI. You probably found the right guy. Or like I said, it's always very easy to find me. Just search for Jerry Levine, jerry.levine@leahai.com, or find me on LinkedIn.
Jerry, thank you so much for being with us in your busy
My pleasure.
schedule. Thank you for sharing your professional insights and wisdom with us in the American Business Podcast.
My pleasure. Thank you, Kevin, for having me.
Thank you very much, and I wish you a great day. And to our listeners and to our viewers, I hope you enjoyed today's episode. And what do you like? What do you think about AI? How do you like this episode? Please share your thoughts in the comments in the chat box. We love to hear from you. And if you like this episode, please subscribe, like, invite your friends, your colleagues, and let's get this conversation going. We truly appreciate your help and support in the American Business Podcast. We'll be right back after a short break. Thank you. Would you like to listen to music during your work time? We are here to help. We created ABP Office Music Pod, powered by the American Business Podcast. ABP Office Music Pod is for you, the working professional. You can enjoy jazz, lo-fi, smooth jazz, classic music, and more during your work time. We keep the music positive and energetic. You can go to the YouTube channel of the American Business Podcast, or you can scan this QR code and start listening right away. There is more coming in the American Business Podcast, and this is one of them. Enjoy ABP Office Music Pod during your work time, and thank you very much for your support. Support for the American Business Podcast comes from Reddit. Do you know the biggest challenge nowadays for American small businesses? That is visibility. That's why we partner with Reddit for Business. There are more than 440 million visitors weekly on Reddit. Furthermore, Reddit is reliable, and millions of users are going to Reddit to get the real feedback from real people. It is the number one source for real reviews on products, services, and brands. There is a promotion going on that I'd like you to consider and take advantage of. When you spend $500 on Reddit for advertising, you'll get $500 in advertising credit. True story. I am a Reddit user, and anytime I like to have feedback or review for a product or service, I go to Reddit and I talk to Reddit communities. I get the real feedback and real review from real people and real communities. Scan this QR code and sign up for Reddit advertising. Get the visibility for your company, for your products and services on Reddit with Reddit advertising. Reach people ready to buy your products and services with Reddit advertising. Scan the QR code and sign up today. Thank you for your support. Would you like to start your business podcast? We are here to help. My name is Kevin Devecioglu. I am the founder and host of the American Business Podcast, the voice of American business. When we started the American Business Podcast on February 28, 2025, we had only one mission in mind: to promote, support, and uplift American businesses, nonprofits, manufacturers, and the American business community. Within our first 6 months, we managed to pass 100,000 YouTube subscribers, and we received YouTube Silver Award. This is an important award. It shows our dedication to American business and to the American Business Podcast viewers, subscribers, and American Business Podcast community. Now you can have your own branded company podcast within the American Business Podcast network. You can promote your company, your products, your services, and you'll have instant visibility in front of thousands of the American Business Podcast viewers, subscribers, and followers. You can promote your company, your products and services. You can educate and inspire businesses and individuals. More importantly, you can tell your story, your brand story. How did you get started? What makes you different? And how you are helping your customers and communities. As you know, in the American Business Podcast, I've been talking to more than 100 American businesses. Each business has a story that is inspiring and motivational. I know your business also has a great story which is motivational and inspiring. It is time for you to have your business podcast within the American Business Podcast network. We help you start your business podcast, and we help you grow your business. This is a great opportunity for you to be visible in the marketplace in front of thousands of the American Business Podcast viewers and subscribers. And this is a great opportunity for us to fulfill our mission to promote, support, and uplift American businesses. Please send us an email and let's get the conversation started. It is PaaS@americanpodcast.tv. Business podcasting as a service. Powered by the American Business Podcast, the voice of American business. The American Business Podcast is America's fastest growing educational business podcast network in this age of AI. My name is Kevin Devecioglu. I'm the founder and host of the American Business Podcast, and I'm looking forward to hearing from you, working with you, and help you grow your business with your new business podcast. Thank you very much. Support for the American Business Podcast comes from Anywhere Apps by Kirk Consulting, now Cherry Baker. It is time to digitize and automate your business processes. Anywhere Apps designed for small and mid-sized companies as well as enterprise-level companies to help you digitize and automate your business processes. Today, I'd like to talk about one of the Anywhere apps that's very popular in the US. It is called Nonprofit Management Anywhere. If you are a nonprofit and you like to manage your donations, volunteers, fundraising events, your grants, and other documents for compliance and operational purposes, consider Nonprofit Management Anywhere. It is a completely cloud service. You can start using it today with no need for local installation on your server or on your local laptop and computers. It is user-friendly and it's easy to deploy, and you can start using it today. I have the QR code on the screen. You can scan the QR code and you can learn more about Anywhere apps, including Nonprofit Management Anywhere. Well, there is more. If you'd like to talk to me directly about Anywhere apps, you can just send me an email directly, kevin@kirkconsulting.com. Anywhere apps are modern, they are easy to use, they are affordable, practical, and more importantly, that's designed for you to help you digitize and automate your business processes. Scan the QR code or just send me a direct email, kevin@kirkconsulting.com. Thank you for your support. Support for the American Business Podcast comes from Just Answer. Real help from real experts 24/7. Experts such as lawyers, doctors, veterinarians, computer technicians, home improvement experts, mechanics, personal tax experts, computer technicians, and many other experts are available for you 24/7 on Just Answer. You'll get your answers anytime, during the day, during the night, 24/7, and you'll get your answers from reliable sources. You can scan the QR code on the screen and you can sign up for Just Answer. The answers you need at a price that is right. Scan the QR code and sign up for Just Answer today. Thank you for your support. Support for the American Business Podcast comes from Gemini Trust. Gemini makes crypto simple. Find, trade, and buy over 70 different coins, including Bitcoin and Solana, on the best cryptocurrency platform. Gemini Trust. Start trading crypto here. I have the QR code on the screen. You can scan the QR code and start signing up today. Because they have a great customer service, you can reach out to them and get assistance 24/7. Scan the QR code and start trading crypto on Gemini. Thank you for your support. Support for the American Business Podcast comes from Otter AI. Otter is the AI note taker that builds your knowledge and powers your workflow with transcription, automated summaries, AI chat, and more. Get your AI-powered assistant for meeting notes, tasks, and more. Scan the QR code on the screen and sign up today. Otter AI is the latest note taker that you can utilize, and you can set your meetings, you can take your notes, And you can also set up your follow-up actions automatically with the help of the other AI. Scan the QR code and sign up today. Thank you for your support. Support for the American Business Podcast comes from Anywhere Apps by Kirk Consulting, now Cherry Baker. It is time to digitize and automate your business processes. Anywhere Apps designed for small and mid-sized companies as well as enterprise-level companies to help you digitize and automate your business processes. Today, I'd like to talk about one of the Anywhere apps that's very popular in the US. It is called Nonprofit Management Anywhere. If you are a nonprofit and you like to manage your donations, volunteers, fundraising events, your grants, and other documents for compliance and operational purposes, consider Nonprofit Management Anywhere. It is a completely cloud service. You can start using it today with no need for local installation on your server or on your local laptop and computers. It is user-friendly and it's easy to deploy, and you can start using it today. I have the QR code on the screen. You can scan the QR code and you can learn more about Anywhere apps, including Nonprofit Management Anywhere. Well, there is more. If you'd like to talk to me directly about Anywhere apps, you can just send me an email directly, kevin@kirkconsulting.com. Anywhere apps are modern, they are easy to use, they are affordable, practical, and more importantly, that's designed for you to help you digitize and automate your business processes. Scan the QR code or just send me a direct email, kevin@kirkconsulting.com. Thank you for your support. Support for the show comes from DocuSign. DocuSign is the latest, modern, cloud-based digital electronic signature software system. You can sign your vendor contracts, customer contracts, NDAs, and any type of contracts digitally with no need of local installation or no need of keeping your documents on your laptop or your mobile device. Furthermore, DocuSign is equipped with intelligent agreement management that helps you digitize and automate your repeating contracts, whether that's a supplier contract, customer contract, NDA, and legal documents. I have the QR code on the screen to sign up for DocuSign subscription right now. It comes with a free trial, in no obligation. You can digitize and automate your contract management and document management processes starting today. True story. I also use DocuSign regularly and it works very smooth. Highly recommend it. You see the QR code on the screen. Scan the QR code. It'll take you to their website. Sign up today, start the free trial, and join the team, and enjoy the DocuSign features and benefits. Thank you very much. Support for the American Business Podcast comes from Wizen. At the American Business Podcast, we always talk about continuous improvement and professional development. That is why we partner with Wizen, trust the nation's largest network for tutoring. Wizen helps you find the tutor that you need in many different subjects: chemistry, computer, foreign languages, geometry, English, music, physics, reading, SAT, science, and many more. I have the QR code on the screen that you can sign up and start searching for tutors and enjoy the learning experience and continuous improvement as we always talk about in the American Business Podcast. Scan the QR code and sign up for Wizen today. Thank you very much. It is time to sign up for the online monthly networking event, networking and podcasting together. It is called Connection America Business Alliance, partnered and powered by the American Business Podcast. During this unique business networking event, you'll be able to meet with other business professionals. At the same time, you will be in the American Business Podcast in front of thousands of business-minded YouTube subscribers, viewers, and listeners of the American Business Podcast, the voice of American business. Connection America online monthly networking events are interactive. you'll be able to meet with other seasoned business professionals, and at the same time, you'll be able to interact with viewers and audience. That's a unique event. It is because it's podcasting plus networking. If you are in business, you should be networking. And if you're not networking, you are losing business every single day. That is why we created online monthly networking event called Connection America Business Alliance, CABA in short. Scan this QR code and sign up today. When you scan the QR code, you'll see the list of coming monthly online networking events. Pick the one that works for you and sign up. We have limited seating, and today is the great day to sign up for online business networking event. Networking plus podcasting. That is a unique online business networking opportunity. You can introduce yourself, your products and services, and you'll be able to network with other business professionals live on the American Business Podcast. Scan the QR code and sign up today. I'm looking forward to seeing you there. Thank you for your support. Support for the American Business Podcast comes from Invicta. Invicta is known for its stylish watches, both for men and women. Invicta is offering unisex watches as well. I have a confession. I am an Invicta fan, and I've been using Invicta watches for many, many years. This one is 57mm Invicta watch, automatic. Because it's black color, it goes well with my business outfit. And because it's automatic, I don't need batteries for my watch. It gets the energy by me just moving the watch from my wrist. So it creates energy and it can go pretty much non-stop. I have the QR code on the screen, and when you scan the QR code, you'll be able to see the Invicta watch collection. And you can pick the one that you like based on the color, style, and technology. Please scan the QR code, start shopping today, and join me using Invicta. I'm sure you'll like it. Thank you very much for your support. Thank you for being with me in the American Business Podcast. If you'd like to be a guest in the American Business Podcast, please send us an email, guestbooking@americanpodcast.tv. If you'd like to sponsor ABP, if you'd like to advertise in our podcast episodes, please send us an email, growyourbusiness@americanpodcast.tv. You can advertise your company, your products, your services, and your brands in the American Business Podcast. Please send us an email, growyourbusiness@americanpodcast.tv. You can also visit our website, americanpodcast.tv, to learn more about the American Business Podcast as well as our coming streaming schedule. Now you can have your branded company podcast within the American Business Podcast network. We call it Business Podcasting as a Service, PaaS. If you're interested in starting your business podcast in the American Business Podcast network, please send us an email, paas@americanpodcast.tv. As part of our international expansion, we started international podcast editions. When you scan this QR code, it'll take you to our YouTube page. And please go to the podcast section in our YouTube page, and you'll see our international podcast editions. They are ABP Espanol, ABP German, ABP French, ABP Hindi, ABP Portuguese, and ABP Turk, that you can listen to American Business Podcast in 6 different foreign languages. Okay, well, we are in the process of increasing our presence in social media. If you're on LinkedIn, please scan this QR code and subscribe, follow us on LinkedIn. If you're on TikTok, please scan this QR code. It'll take you to our TikTok page. Please subscribe. Please follow us. If you are on Instagram, please scan this QR code. It'll take you to our Instagram page, and please subscribe. If you are on Facebook, we'll also appreciate your help and support. Please scan this QR code. It'll take you to our Facebook page, and please follow us. And finally, we are on IMDb, next to other reputable media productions. Please scan this QR code, go to our IMDb page, and please rate us on IMDb. We'll truly appreciate your help and support. I'd like to thank you for your help. Thank you for your support. I'm looking forward to seeing you in coming the American Business Podcast episodes. The American Business Podcast is the voice of American business. the American Business Podcast, America's fastest growing educational business podcast network in this age of AI. Thank you very much for your help and looking forward to seeing you. Thank you.